Hello everyone, welcome back to Kharak Cup number 6. We got Majiir Paktu versus Garmilator here in quarterfinals match B. Now Majiir is the one of the higher seed here, so he is able to pick the first map. He's picked Galzian territories, and this is one that I'm surprised Garmilator didn't ban. This is the map that we kind of, we all think of this as the upset map because you never know what the heck is going to happen on this map. It's very random, you know what I mean? And that is because, of course, of the, kind of ridiculous high ground situation here. If you roll the high ground spawn, you could have a serious advantage. Garmilator has it in this case, but then there's always, this very aggressive sort of early position right here. I would say I don't actually like this pick very much from Majiir. From Majiir though, because I think Galzian territories in general is a map that favors the, it favors the aggressive player. It favors the one who likes to take early game engagements more. And who is that really? That's got to be Garmilator. He's, one of the most aggressive players that we know. He rarely even goes up to 3 bases, like voluntarily. So I mean, I don't think this is going to work out too well for him. But I don't know. Majiir might be feeling confident on this map. He might be planning some kind of a 2PC rush or something like that. Perhaps it will work out. Garmilator just going to check that out for himself with his probe here. Wants to see where the base runner is. He spotted that one. Wants to see where the production cruiser is. Not going to find that just yet. It is actually on the second. And the base runner going to be sent back to try and hunt down this probe here. Looks like he's changed his mind. He's going to move up this way. But it's very important, obviously, against Conef to find out where that base runner is, and there he's going to see the production cruiser. That's what he wanted to know. He's going to fly through the AA here, trying to kind of find his way between these two units, but that's not going to work, and he is going to go slamming down into the desert. And look how far he rolls. Oh. That's game-ending damage, right? Yeah, it doesn't really matter at all. The reason you want to scout the base runner against Conef, of course, it's going to be because of these blast drones. These things are so freaking annoying. And if you let them do damage to you in the early game, you may really regret it. Base runner is going to come under fire here, though, against all these LAVs, and making blast drones here is not going to be that effective, especially against a player of Garmilator's caliber, and he snuck his base runner behind, so he might be going for a base runner hunt down here with his LAVs. This is why I was saying I don't necessarily like the idea of picking this map against Garmilator, because you know he's going to attack you early on. I mean, that's what he does. I think we're going to see a turret placed down here for Garmilator. I would like to see Majiir go here with his blast drone and just deny this turret for as long as possible, but he doesn't. Instead, he's moving out this way, and I think that means that that turret is going to be very effective. At any rate, it stops the retreat there from Majiir. And actually, he's going to find some free well, this one amazingly doesn't die, but he's going to find some free sand skimmers to pick up here. So Majiir going to notice that and run back. Okay, there's a chance that Majiir could use the smoke here. No, it doesn't look like he's going to get any kind of egregious blast drone hits in the base runner. It does go down. Oh, he's very close now. Oh, no! Oh, even players like Garmilator can get hit by this stuff. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Now, Majiir could not, bank on that. If he had been banking on the fact, oh, yeah, I'm going to get a blast drone hit, I know it, he probably would have clicked up to refinery mode. He cannot rely on that, though, because, of course, it's questionable whether he's going to get that or not. So he went for railguns first. Not going to give him a huge advantage here, but still going to be, I think, a notable one. Garmilator not yet on 2 bases. Majiir can pretty quickly get refinery mode. Only needs a couple more CUs for that, and I think that's what he's saving up to. What did he do? Did he make a production cruiser? No, wait, where did all his money go? What the heck? I'm looking at Garmilator's money. Whoa, I'm so good at casting. Yeah, Garmilator must have just... No, wait, no, I am looking at Majiir's money. Okay, wait, where did all that money go? Where's the money? Did he just queue up, like... Okay, yeah, he queued up 2. Okay, right, never mind. He queued up 2 heavy railguns. That's mystery solved, but... heavy railguns when your opponent has made nothing but LAVs? Wouldn't it have been better to go for refinery mode? I think it would have. Yeah, and look, he's going to lose the heavy railgun too here by some poor positioning. Or rather, he should. Oh, it's very close, but it survives on 38 HP. I think Garmilator should have just sacrificed 1 LAV. 1 LAV would have secured the kill here, and then he could just run away with the rest of them. Okay, you have a chance. Click, click, click. No, he's going to go for some aggression, I believe. Now, that's not necessarily wrong. This is... Oh, and Garmilator moving his carrier again. He does that a lot on accident. This is not necessarily wrong, especially on a map like Galzian territories. I mean, I was just saying it's kind of the map that favors the aggressor, but you had the ability to get an early game advantage by going for very safe eco there because of that blast drone hit, and you didn't take it. I think that's a little bit questionable. Oh no, we could see some more blast drone shenaniganry. There is one out. Am I gonna chalk again, or is he not gonna get a hit with this one? We'll have to see. Blast drones are pretty speedy. They even have mobility support. Oh, okay, it only gets 2. It only gets 2. And the fight was pretty much over by that point as well. Majiir amazingly coming out on top of it, but these heavy railguns not really helping him at all. I say as they get hit, but you know, I think, okay, there's refinery mode, but it's quite late, isn't it? I think the support cruiser was already on the way for Garmilator. No, maybe not. Actually, yeah, so that's okay for Majiir. He's still going to have an eco advantage miraculously, but I still think, you know, assault railguns would have been much better for getting control of the field. Refinery mode would have been much better for getting macro advantages. In this particular configuration, I think Majiir is actually still ahead, surprisingly, but not by that much. He may be ahead by a lot if Garmilator's carrier just like destroys itself on this hill here. I don't know who's piloting this thing, but they should probably not be. But that's all right. That's okay. This is fine, guys. Oh no! Tell me, there's a blast drone coming out right now. He can use the smoke. Use the smoke. No, he's not gonna use the smoke. Use the smoke, Luke. Refinery mode comes out right here. This is going to be an artifact pickup for Majiir almost certainly. That's always nice, especially if you have a feeling you're going to be defending in the early game. And Garmilator has continued to make LAVs like literally constantly, so that's a good bet that that might happen. Refinery mode is finished for Majiir Paktu, but he's actually not on his second base with the production cruiser, which is a little bit awkward. I'd like to see him just move these 4 salvagers up here or move the production cruiser back, of course. He's making another one. That's going to be nice. That'll put him up to 3 bases. His opponent currently on 1. 1.5, I guess we can say, by the mining, but so is Majiir. The blast drone mixed in here, by the way, and now I'd like to point out, if you're the red player, it's very difficult to see that that blast drone is there unless you're on alt, but most people aren't. So, you know, when you're looking here to try to select like units to attack, it's very difficult to see that a blast drone is actually there. Especially because the X fades out if you get too close. I don't know who designed that, but I mean, it's like they really want these blast drone things to happen. But yeah, it's quite difficult to see. And of course it fades out if you zoom too far out in the senses menu too, but I mean, who really does that? Blast drone gonna hide over on this side of the hill here. There's potential, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It looks like it's gonna get shut down. There needs to make sure he's watching his railguns though, but the blast drone does get taken out. Base runner could produce another one now, but doesn't have any signs of doing that. Now Garmilator still on 1 base making LAVs, and I feel like if you're Majiir, you know, just make assault railguns and you're gonna wreck this blob here. You're gonna clear out the turret. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but the blob you shall wreck. The terrain looks kind of funky here. I don't know. Anyway, I'm really kind of amazed he's not, you know, going for that. And the longer he waits to make like more units than his opponent and all that kind of stuff, the more artifacts Garmilator is able to cart out here. But yeah, heavy railguns are an interesting choice. I'm not sure if I approve of it, really. I always say really twice, really. Someone's getting shot at. Straight sandstormer. Blast drone taking a very aggressive position here. He can get behind that dune there. No, it's just going to get taken out. Garmilator can move out with his carrier, but there are railguns here, of course. He probably just wants to back away with that. But no, he's actually going to push the issue. Not sure I like this. LAVs have the longer range, but if you try to back away to kite from someone, you'll realize that they need to turn around. So it takes a long time to back up. It's actually kind of an interesting nuance of the game there. So you can't really use the range advantage when you're fighting sandstorms if you're driving towards them, because then to turn around takes time. And that's why you see coalition players turn around early quite often, because they're trying to avoid that fact. 1 railgun gets taken out by Garmilator. I think now he can definitely push the issue, because Majiir had the opportunity to use some high ground over here, and if his heavy railguns were constantly hitting the carrier, it'd be a little bit awkward for Garmilator to use that in the attack. But it's not so anymore. And notice Majiir's carrier also has moved, so he's only on 2 bases. I really think the choices from both players are a little strange in this match here. But I'll tell you what the choice for Garmilator is at this point. I have 16 LAVs. He has 0 sandskimmers, so point, click. I mean, it's pretty much. This is a point and click game, guys. This is a point and click game. Carrier is going to power up the close combat weapons. Makes a lot of sense if you're going to try to hold against these LAVs here, but this production cruiser is kind of rinsed. You'll see how fast that goes down. And Garmilator probably assuming his opponent is on 3 bases here. That's not even the case. So he's going to be very happy with this indeed. Assault Railgun should actually get killed on exit here. Yeah, if a unit is doing the exiting the production cruiser animation when the production cruiser gets killed, it dies actually. So that's always a little sad. But there's a blast drone though, so you know this is all going to get turned around. What are the upgrades like for Garmilator? He's got armor 1, so I don't think the blast... I'm not sure actually. So armor 1 stops the sand skimmer from getting killed in 1 hit. This blast drone is just going to die. Armor 1 stops the sand skimmer from getting killed in 1 hit, but LAVs only have 500 health, so maybe it doesn't stop them from dying in 1 hit actually. I'd have to look into that. And you know I ain't got time for that. Whoa, my back. Oh. Anyway, Majiir going to try to replace that production cruiser. He's got a whole bunch of heavy railguns here that are very exposed. He's got, you know, a bunch of production cruiser. Well, he's got a bunch of production cruiser that is very exposed. I feel like everything is exposed. All of these railguns should fall here. I think that's even a better target than the production cruiser, honestly. Garmilator seems to agree. He's going to run in there. He takes out the blast drone, which is like the one way that this could go horribly wrong, but there's another one. Oh. No, he's not going to fall for that, of course. Takes it out pretty much immediately. And you also notice that the boost allows the sand skimmers to move faster than a blast drone, so if you really think it's going to catch you, you just hit R and drive away. And I think that's the reason why he's been saving his boost this whole time. He might have used it otherwise. But you're going to recognize that this is not going particularly well, and he chooses to GG out of the game right there. So, good game to Garmilator. I loved the blast drone hit, but Majiir really, I think, could have taken... I think he honestly could have taken the win, or at least he would have been in a dominant position had he gone for refinery mode early on right there. And also, heavy railguns was an odd choice because your opponent hadn't used any armored vehicles at all. I think he was doing that to preempt the inevitable railgun spam, but assault railguns get you the field control. I think they would have been the better choice. Let's move on to map 2, shall we? Let me make sure I get that in my replay folder here before I enter the thing, you know, before I enter the replay menu, because then you have to exit that and get back in. So map 2. By the way I have these things set up here, I can't see if there's a map 3 or not until I open the folder for that. So I don't know if there's a map 3 until after I've replayed 1 and 2. So it is actually up in the air as to like, is it going to be map 3 and all that kind of stuff? But I would have to suspect no. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be on Kalash Teeth. This has got to be Garmilator's pick here. He is the player of lower seed, that is. I need to get those terms settled out. There was a bit of confusion in this tournament because in the rules it said the player of lower seed gets to pick first, and what I meant by that was the one who has performed less well in the qualifier, but the number is actually higher for that player, so it was really confusing for everybody. From now on, we'll just call it the lower seed player is the one with the lower number, so that's Garmilator in this case. So hopefully that clears up the confusion, but yeah, that's what I mean when I say this kind of stuff. But yeah, this map is Garmilator's pick. Majiir did not ban this one. I wonder which one he did ban. That'd be nice to see, but of course we don't have access to that information. Might have been Torn Crater. It's hard to say though. What is Majiir gonna do? What is he gonna do? Honestly, if I were him, I would not be so disheartened from game 1. I would kind of feel like I did pretty well, because those blast drones were glorious. Gloria! You know, I mean, or at least the one. I guess it was actually only one blast drone now that I think about it. But, you know, I'm not going to be too down on that if I were Majiir. I'm going to think, you know what, this guy is actually beatable. Myself as the caster, I am going to predict it's going to be 2-0. I don't think Majiir is going to win this one, but if I were playing as Majiir, like if I were him, I would think, you know what, I did actually okay last game. I just clearly made some mistakes that cost me the game. And if he's able to analyze his game really quickly and figure out what those were, maybe he'll be able to win this. If he plays the same as he did last game in the opener, he, you know, gets another blast drone hit like that, he could be in it. We'll just have to see how that goes. Sand Skimmer Fabrication coming up pretty early for him, but not as early as Garmilator's LAV spam, which is already on the field. Blast drone's going right to the corner there, and I like that being hidden. Very tricky positioning on them right there. Not going to be found for sure. Second one is out, and it's moving up. The probe, oh, is the probe going to see it? Yeah, okay, so he didn't move that one, so the probe is going to see it here. Look at Garmilator giving him cute orders like that, but actually that's kind of trash and it's going to die. But I'm sure he saw the blast drone, he saw the base runner, and let's be honest, when your base runner is that close to the edge of the map, you kind of start thinking, I wonder if this guy's up to something, you know? So Garmilator should know that something is on the way. So I was just checking something out there. And the LAV's immediately queued out to that location. I think he knows. He's got an inkling, to say the least. Yeah, he saw the red blip there, so he's like, objects in this corner of the map, I wonder what they could be, Meanwhile, he's trying to do a similar thing with his turret here. He's going to try to hold off that second location. Let's see how much damage Majiir is able to do to these LAVs. Probably should detonate now. Yep, there you go. So he gets 3 for 2. That's not like horrible actually. It was a little bit lazy if Garmilator let that happen, especially because it looked like he was going to take that easily. He was not going to lose any salvagers, but then suddenly he did lose 3 LAVs there. You know what I'm just realizing now? There's quite a difference between the back lines of these players' maps, isn't there? This one's got a lot of hills behind it, which I think is worse for the defending player. Anyway, Conef Carrier, very good at weeding these things out because of the cruise missile. Of course, those are stationary units, so it's not particularly hard to hit them, is it? Another blast room was produced. Yeah, there it is. I know because there's only a certain number of blast rounds that you can do. You can only make 8 of them before they run out in the base runner. But looks like Majiir is indeed going to score an artifact. He may even get this base runner back some distance to the base, or maybe he actually wants to run it out that way in that case. Using the smoke, of course, he can extend its life. But you know what else he could do? He could make a blaster and kill all these LAVs. We'll have to see. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Meanwhile, Majiir seems to be taking my advice. He's going for refinery mode right now, which is good. I like that. And that tech will be finished by the time the LAVs can really do any damage. So that's good for Garmilator. He's going to use the boost. He's going to get away from the blast drone. So he did see that one coming. And it's almost going to get sniped. Yeah, okay, it is going to get sniped there along with the base runner. So yeah, refinery mode is finished now for Majiir, and he's actually gone for assault ship tech. He's going to produce one of those now. That's going to easily hold off any LAV aggression that comes after him, so he's going to be fine in that regard. He will be on 2 bases quite safely. So is Garmilator, who's making a support cruiser, and both players are pretty much even coming out of the opener here. Tech choice for Garmilator is railguns, which is nice for him, but if there is an air transition, that might catch him a little bit off guard here. I'd like to see Majiir try for that. Since you know who this player is, you know what Garmilator does. Also, he probably needs to pull back this sand skimmer or this salvager right here. It's taking a lot of damage. I think it's going to go down now. So he's going to lose the salvager. Actually, that's not particularly good right there. But yeah, I mean, you know what kind of player this is. You know that he likes to go railgun first off the back of this. He almost never gets any AAVs. Certainly, he's not going to have anti-air this quickly. So if you go for an air transition, you can maybe pick off those railguns and then have the assault ships push in and do some serious damage. There might be some way to approach this game. Instead, Majiir going to go for railgun fabrication. That's actually quite interesting. Although I do have to say, Conef rails plus siege cruisers are insanely good, because siege cruisers are like the hard counter to LAVs. And they also are not bad in a railgun fight. And they're produced from the carrier, whereas railguns are produced from the production cruisers, so they don't overlap each other, which means that there's a lot of possibility there. You can do a lot of damage. So I'd like to see Majiir try that out actually. But siege cruiser tech's very expensive. Railguns themselves are also quite expensive, so it's obviously not going to happen soon if it does happen at all. Support cruiser anti-air coming out for Garmilator actually, so maybe I was totally wrong. And that's a good move obviously because he saw assault ships from your opponent, so it's not hard to surmise that he may go for air. In this case though, he's actually going to be wrong. So if Majiir did that cognitively and he's trying to counter-strike Garmilator, I say good show, sir. Meanwhile, he's expanding his eco. Garmilator, he doesn't need to expand his eco, he's Garmilator, so that means Garmilator is going to favor, well actually, I may be wrong, he is making salvagers right now, and he's making another one despite already having full saturation, so yeah, I'm probably wrong. I'm always wrong, guys. But what I was thinking was that he's going to try to use his railguns to crack the assault ships and then get into his opponent's base here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case actually. The railgun is in position though, so good damage is going to be done to the LAVs here. Armor not yet researched though, so these things are pretty vulnerable, but actually he gets good pickups, and I gotta say, Majiir doing pretty well with the assault ship management right there. Second production cruiser is already on the way. I'd like to see how much range he's got on the cruise missile, but I doubt it's over here, of course. I really doubt it. Actually, he is going to go for interceptor fabrication. And that's actually a build that's pretty tried and tested. So, I mean, I want to see that, what do you call it? I want to see assault ship railgun siege cruiser, but I think that this is actually also a good move. Especially because one of the big weaknesses you need to cover when you go for railguns is air, and interceptors obviously are very good anti-air. You don't want to push out here though, there's a turret that's going to give you some grief. Hasn't seen that just yet, of course. Interceptor fabrication finishing very soon. He's going to go for another production cruiser before he makes the air units though, and I like doing that myself as well because it frees up your carrier to move. Should probably also just put 1 power into the self-healing here because somehow his carrier's taking actually quite a bit of damage. 500, quite a bit of damage. That's actually not very much damage, but whatever. It's the health of an assault railgun. Alright, that's a big difference. That could mean winning or losing. And Majiir now beginning to produce heavy railguns off the back of this. I like that move, obviously. And he is going to get kind of bullied a little bit if he takes a fight here because there's a railgun for his opponent already. Garmilator, by the way, did go for another support cruiser, so that's why we don't see more army out on the field for him. And he's gone for power reserve 1, now getting 2. So he's going to do his typical, you know, cruise missile shenanigans probably. Not sure where this guy is headed, by the way, but we'll have to see. How many heavies we got here? Just 1. But 1 heavy railgun should beat 1 railgun if they're microed properly. However, now there's going to be 3 here, so Majiir needs some more railgun presence. Hope he's making them, I can't really tell. Yeah, he's making assault railguns. Not sure about that, because I think the assault chips are enough of a hard counter to those LAVs that, you know, if you go for assault chips, that is your anti-LAV unit. You should commit to using heavy railguns instead of assault railguns, but we'll have to see. He's now queued up quite a lot of air units. He's got 1 in the pipe already. And that would be nice for him. He can clear out these turrets quite easily. He can take some nice fights with the railguns there. This is not a nice fight, by the way. Loses 2 assault railguns for nothing. And that's why I'm saying you shouldn't try to use the assault railguns here, because even in a railgun on railgun war, they tend to have some problems in that regard. Really, you want heavy railguns so that you can deal with the long range aspect of your opponent's army, and then you can have the assault ships covering for LAVs. But he continues to make assault railguns here, and I worry for him. Every assault railgun that he makes, I worry a little bit more for him. He's going to run into some troubles here as well. He's also trying to take a fight with this base runner. Oh, is he going to stop the extraction? I'm really curious. No, he's not going to stop the extraction here. 2 really good cruise missiles. No, never mind. And what happened to those LAVs? They actually ran out. That's kind of interesting, because they didn't really do much. I thought they were going to do a lot more right there. But recognizing there's no LAVs right here, he's going to run in with his interceptors, take some really nice shots at these railguns here, and do a lot of damage, I gotta say. Now he wants to be careful. There is anti-air on the field here in the form of these LAVs, as well as support cruiser anti-air if he strays a little bit too far. You want to make sure these guys don't go too low, like that one right there, going to get taken out. That one as well. Oh, he wants to dock now. You got to dock at this point. Dock! Dock! It's a trap! Dock! Gets killed by a base runner. Oh, what a... He's never going to live that one down, that interceptor. They're going to get to heaven and they're asking, how did you die? And he's like, I got killed by a base runner. And they're like, dude, I know interceptors are weak, but you're not that weak. Anyway. Trying to drop a turret when there's assault ships attacking a base runner usually doesn't work very well. Assault ships have quite a lot of area of effect damage. Anyway, that air transition, I kind of criticized it for having how many units he lost there, but it has gone quite swimmingly for him, I think. He's really taking control of the field now. Although he does kind of foolishly lose a railgun to a turret right there, but railgun war is going in his favor, I'd say. Launching air units again is Majiir. Now I really hope he doesn't try to go for the eco, because he couldn't know this, of course, but there is actually a support cruiser anti-air. It has been for some time now. But Majiir not looking bad at all. He is going to go for the eco, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully he realizes that these units are just going to die, like once he sees the missiles flying. So at this point, he's got a dock, I think. Ooh, he stuck around. Oh, that guy was disobeying orders, I think. Oh, and the other one flew over this support cruiser. Ouch. Yes, I guess docking was the wrong move. He actually should have clicked over here, but whatever, it's alright. Both players are pretty much equal economic footing at this point. Army is looking better for Majiir, but Garmilator's powering up his carrier a little bit, we'll say, a little bit. And he does have more artifacts scored. Majiir accidentally queuing up all of his selecting all of his production cruisers and telling him to move. That's always a painful move right there. That is going to cost him, I believe. He sees it now. Course correct right there. This guy, unfortunately, rallied to go a little far away, but that's alright. Now he does still have 3 air units, and I think he can get a lot done with him just in terms of anti-air. He can snipe a lot of probes here, and coalition armies rely on using probes a lot to win these railgun fights, because then they get the stealth railguns, which are what I mean by that, by the way, in case anyone doesn't know, is that when railguns when coalition railguns fire, they go out of view for a little bit as long as they're not actually in view. Like if these ones were shooting, they're going to be revealed because they're shooting at their opponent. But after taking a shot, they'll be unrevealed for a short time, which means that the Gaussian railguns will stop targeting them, and it takes like a lot of really intensive micro to actually win that fight when your railguns are not targeting them automatically. It's super annoying. Shouldn't be a thing in the game. It's being corrected in the balance patches that people are making, but it's how it is right now. This poor sand skimmer. Wrecked. Anyway, Garmilator took a fair bit of carrier damage right there, but he is now got 5 power in the range. Now, railguns still outrange a carrier with 5 power, but only just. Garmilator gonna back up here. No reason to take a fight, he doesn't have to. He's just gonna wait for power reserve 5, and then he's gonna see what damage he can do there. Support cruiser is in the area healing up the carrier, and that's also providing good anti-air for those railguns. Both players just kind of content to build up here, but I don't see as many heavy railguns as I think I should from Majiir, and that does kind of worry me. I think he needs to go for some more heavy railguns if he wants to get much value out of this game here. He has got 2 artifacts picked up meanwhile, being carried by those base runners. This one probably is going to pick up the 3rd. I like that quite a lot actually. Because if you ever push your opponent back to this point, then you can say, hey, by the way, I'm also going to extract. Oh, and look at that, blast drones. That's also not a bad idea at all. He's going to run in there with those assault ships, but that's not going to go out very well. He also tries to run in with the air units, but he takes a lot of damage there, and he's just going to choose to dock. That was overall not a very effective push, but this one might be. There are LAVs in the area, but LAVs not exactly the best counter to assault ships, and I gotta say, this is looking pretty good now for Majiir. Rails are in the area. Assault ships kind of wishing they had that smoke ability, but they did pick up 2 salvagers, for which I think they will be very happy. Heavy railgun count looking like 7 to 6 now, and it's important to note that actually Garmilator's railguns had to move over here to defend. So Majiir has a window now where he can push back Garmilator's carrier and he can get an extraction. He should smoke the base runner for sure, but I don't think he even needs to really. Cruise missile gonna get launched. Whoa! Whoa, smoke ain't gonna help you there. So he does manage to consume 1 artifact with his smoke, with his cruise missile right there. But now Majiir just gonna go for a total run by. He's got blast drones in the mix here. They're not gonna do too much though. They take out 2 heavy railguns essentially. And now if Majiir still had assault ships, I'd say that's actually good, but he does not, as you can see. However, getting a lot of damage on Garmilator's carrier with his cruise missiles there. I like that a lot. He should probably power up this one, but that's alright. Just has to be careful with this carrier that he doesn't overextend, but it doesn't look like he is. However, this is what I was worried that Garmilator would do, and I think Majiir at this point, he's making sand skimmers. Yeah, there you go, he's making assault ships, because that's what's going to stop this. Assault ships, of course, going to do very well at stopping, plugging up the holes made by these LAVs here. And actually, that's why if the game goes on long enough to justify it, I really like getting assault ships when I'm going down the railgun line, because I feel like I can use them for this kind of stuff. But yeah, Majiir had to pay quite heavily to get into the backlines with his units, but Garmilator, not so much. He's able to run in there for free. He takes out, I think it was 2 railguns that he's gotten so far, and he runs straight for that production cruiser. Is that an assault ship coming out of it right now? No, it's a Sandstorm. That's not good. The assault ship's on the other 2 production cruisers, but this is the one that's going to be fought at. So look at the railgun count now. Majiir definitely in the lead in that regard, and that's actually a little surprising to me. Gonna go for a 3rd extraction here. Or, yeah, a 3rd extraction, that's correct. Assault ship is in the area, should now be stopping this, but I think he's gonna lose still 1, maybe 2 salvages here. Oh, look at that, a blast drone. You can see that coming. It gets 2 LAVs. That's actually really good. It's very relevant in this scenario. Whoa, the production cruiser died. Okay, I didn't catch that. Not sure where I was looking, but apparently everywhere but the health bar. Wow. That puts a different spin on things. Oh, and his carrier's way too far. He's gonna get carrier sniped. I know it. I know it. Message to all Connors players, don't do this. Your carrier is slower than your opponent's. Has less armor, less damage, less everything really. Cruise missile is used on the railguns, and I think it's going to land pretty well. Yeah, it's quite a lot of those ones. Okay, you got to click here first off, and then you just got to back away as fast as you can. Actually, really good damage done by the interceptors right there. But I think Majiir's just going to lose his carrier here. That's a really sad way for the series to end, because I actually thought Majiir had a chance to win this one. He was looking really okay, actually. Really convincing opener for him right there. Yeah, powering up now the healing and the mobility is Majiir just trying to get out of there if he can, but he cannot. That's going to be game. And just like last time, his carrier is literally on top of Garmilators when he dies. You remember that from the qualifier section, perhaps? What a shame. What a shame. Yeah, that's a little sad because I really feel like this game had a lot of potential, but he just kind of blundered his carrier in there, so we will not get to see what other things Majiir had cooking, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah. That'll happen. Conf players, make sure you're watching out for your carrier there. It's a weak boy.